Hi everyone, well, the news I've been waiting for has finally arrived. So, at long last, the second part of my CT scan, the part that will show my adrenal gland, finally has arrived. And let's go over it. All right. First impression says the status point right hepatic lobectomy. No evidence of disease recurrence or metastasis. That's, I guess, good news. No evidence of disease reoccurrence. Okay, so let's go with the CT abdomen and pelvis. Oh, what does that mean? Well, it says I'm 60 years old. Yes, I am. I had what's called the oral contrast, which is that if you've never had a CT scan before with the contrast, what it is they give you an IV and they'll run the scan through you like normal, and then they'll run a contrast in to highlight your through your bloodstream and everything, and your body feels really hot when it goes in. Like if in the summer you just sweat kind of thing. In the winter it's like kind of refreshing because you're a little chilly and it just warms you up completely. And often it makes you have the sensation that you have to urinate when you don't. But it's just a weird feeling. I've had so many, I'm so used to it, but it does catch a lot of people off guard. So if you ever go for a CT scan with contrast, just be aware. It's just going to be a hot sensation and a tingly feeling a little bit. But I've had so many, it just done it before. Okay. So the first one, liver, pancreas, bile duct, status post, no evidence of focal hepatic lesions. The patient status post the pancreas appears, there's my favorite word again, unremarkable. I feel I love seeing unremarkable when I'm talking about cancer tests. Then we go with the stomach and bowel, normal appearance of the stomach and the bowel loops, increased fecal load in the colon consistent with constipation. Okay, I backed up a bit, I guess. The adrenal and reproductive organs. Now, that's important. The adrenal gland and that. Diffuse a thickened left adrenal gland with calcification stable. Hasn't grown. Hasn't grown since my last CT scan. That's good. Normal appearance of the right adrenal gland. That's good. Normal appearance of the kidneys, that's great. The prostate and urinary bladder appear unremarkable. Whew. All right, the lymphatic system. The spleen has a normal size. No lymphatic, oh, whatever. Somebody sent me a thing to help me with all these things, and I just haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but I will. I really appreciate that. It breaks down what all these meanings are and things like that. But it just says no, that's good. Next one, unremarkable, vessels and other, unremarkable, bones and body wall, unremarkable, lower thorax, lung, base, heart, CT chest reported separately, which I've already covered on the channel. Everything was unremarkable. So in this thing, we have nothing new. Nothing new. It hasn't grown in size, it's remained the same size, it hasn't spread, it hasn't gone into other parts of my body, which means I should be clear to go for surgery as opposed to go for radiation and chemo. They were worried that if it grew, then they would have to go and shrink it, which would be the chemo and the radiation. Or if it started to spread into different areas, the chemo and radiation would bring it back, and then they could go for the surgery after that. So that's good news. Finally, some good news, and I finally got, I've been waiting a long time. I had this test last Monday. And so Like, that's a long time. It's 8 days to get the results. 9 days. That just came in this morning. 9 days to get the results for this test. Normally I see them in 2 to 3 days. And I know the doctor was even looking for this test. She wants to be able to schedule me as soon as she has the results. She cannot schedule me for surgery without knowing if I'm going for surgery or if I was going for chemo or radiation. Well, now that she sees this, she's going to be able to go in and go one way or the other. It looks like, from what she described to me, if there was no growth and no spread, that we would not have to do the radiation and we would not have to do chemo. That's good news for me, right? Unremarkable. Favorite words. But it looks like now surgery. So hopefully, when she sees this result, she'll see it this week, that she'll schedule me in the upcoming weeks, which means I will have a full 6 weeks before the group cruise in September to recover. Because she says it could be a while. Everyone's different. Some people take a long time to recover from this, and some people are very, very quick. My history is very, very quick. I have not had a bad recovery when things went right in the hospital. And I've had 7 surgeries, remember. So it was my very first surgery, and somebody accidentally fed me when I came out of surgery, and I wasn't supposed to have solid foods for 3 days. It was supposed to be just liquid diet. And they fed me and it turned my stomach raw, and I had to get a tube down my throat to take out all this black gook that was in my stomach and keep draining it. And I was there for like 7-8 days that I couldn't leave the hospital. I was miserable, worst time ever. And I was horrified. I couldn't look at anybody with this tube, because I was like, every time I did it, I had this choking sensation. It was not fun. Every other surgery, in and out. In and out. Doctors at one point said, hey Don, it'll help get your bowels and your urinary tract working there if you can manage to walk down the hall outside your room and then back like once a day. If you can get that going, it really, once you're walking, makes your bowels move, the movement, right? And by the end of the first day, I was walking circles around the floors on the hospital. I did 10,000 steps, that kind of thing. I wanted to recover, and I was working hard at it, and I will be no different this time. So now that all these tests are done, and all this, it's now up to the doctor to now schedule, finally, the surgery. And I'm pretty sure I can safely say it won't be chemo at the beginning, it won't be radiation at the beginning, it will be a surgery.